Hello everyone, I'm Razian. In this tutorial I'm gonna create grappling hook system and jumping on the chains game. Without wasting any time, let's get started with designing a simple level for this game. First of all, I'm gonna create square sprite for ground and walls. Reposition and rescale the square. Duplicate this ground and create the walls. I'm using Wiki to snap things properly. Select camera and reposition it as well. Select these three objects and reposition them again. Now I'm gonna create some hookable platforms by using another square sprite. Reposition and rescale that. Duplicate that. I'm gonna put this in here. Duplicate another and reposition that. Duplicate and reposition another one. Duplicate another wall and reposition that. Rescale the ground and reposition it again. Actually, we need another wall, so duplicate this again. In this section, we are focusing on designing a simple level. I'm gonna rescale hookable platforms so I'm selecting them at first. At this time we are going to make a bridge object, so it needs to be added some capsule sprites as the chains. Rotate the object 90 degrees. Duplicate a couple of the subject and reposition them. Select the first chain and add capsule collider to it. Do the same for the other chains. Now select the first one and add rigid body component to it. For the other chains, add hinge joint component, which adds rigid body too. Create an empty object to store chain object in that. Then name it as a bridge. Now select all the pieces of chains one by one from the scene and drop them onto this object. Then select all the chains and name them as a chain. Create another empty object for environment objects also, and name it as environment. Select all the square objects and drop them onto this newly created object. Now we are going to create a chain rope. So select the capsule for the first chain. Rename it to chain and duplicate a couple of that and reposition them. Create an empty object as a child of the first chain and name it chain base to be at the same pivot point. Unchild the chain base and put other chains below that. Add capsule collider to them. Select the first chain and add rigid body to it. Just like the first chain in bridge. Select other chains in chain base, then add hinge joint components to them. By doing this, we will also add rigid body to them. Change body type from dynamic to kinematic for the first shell of the bridge and the chain base object. Then select the last shell of the bridge and connect the upper shell of that for the connected rigid body property in hinge joint. Do the same for other children of the bridge object. And now it's time to do the same way for the children of the chain base object. Let's give it a try to see what we have done so far. As you can see, we need to also consider the rigid body component attached to the last shell of the bridge as a kinematic. So select this and change its body type to kinematic to prevent the bridge from falling. As you can see, all bridge-related problems are gone. Fortunately, there isn't any problem with the chain-based object. Now we can bring the bridge object down a bit for more consistency. At the follow, we are going to create player object. In hierarchy, right-click and select 2D object. Then select capsule sprite from sprites. Rescale this capsule and reposition it. Change its name to player. Add circle sprite width. Reposition it. This would be a pivot for grappling hook gun. Change the color of the sprite. Add square to it. Rescale and reposition it properly. This would be grappling gun object for us. For rotating grappling gun, we use this pivot. Add another circle as the player's eyes. Now it's time to add ground detector for player. Change the scale of this circle to 0.1. Put that in here. Now change the names of the player's children to appropriate names. Change the color of eye sprite to black. No need to sprite renderer for this object. Change the color of ground detector to red. I think the hook gun name would make a little more sense for this object. Add circle collider component to ground detector. Add rigid body to player. Check Z value to freeze player's rotation. Add capsule collider component as well. Make sure the is trigger value is set to true for ground detector rigid body. Change the color of hook gun to green. To hang on objects in the game, we need to add the hinge joint component to the player, just like other chains in chain-based object. At the follow, we should add box collider to all platforms as well. So select all the environment objects and add box collider to them.